Hi, I'm Christopher Robin Miller.
And I'm the voice of Commander Gnorm.
He's also the voice of Vop from the Wingfeather Saga. My agent called me about being the host for the fundraising video for Wingfeather Saga, and I got that part, and I got to show up and show off my various UK accents as I played a Renaissance-y guy.
And yeah, I changed my accent. Get over it.
I met Chris Wall on that shoot, and he told me I was doing a great job. I took that opportunity to try to horn in and make sure that I got a part in the show, to which he went, sure.
The producer, Chris Wall, worked on the global hit VeggieTales for over a decade and was a producer at DreamWorks Animation. I guess you can be involved.
As if to say, yeah, talk to me about it later when I'm on a plane and not here, available for you to talk to me about it. I've been doing voiceover work for years, probably for about 28 years. Went to an agent here in the Salt Lake area, and I said, I want to do voiceover. And she went, yeah, that's nice. And I bugged her every day for 5 days a week for 6 months until she sent me on an audition out of sheer frustration because I was bugging her and not taking a class and doing a demo, which, by the way, those of you who want to get into voiceover, take a class, do a demo. I got the part, and I've been doing it ever since then. Oh, gosh, there's a couple. I'm particularly proud of my voice of Santa in The Light Before Christmas. Professor Layton. I was the voice of Professor Layton for all the English-speaking dubs for all the games and the movie. Commander Gnorm, he's just a great big gross. I mean, he's the personification of all the 7 deadly sins, basically, in one guy. So he's really kind of fun to play. I also play Vop, who's one of the soldiers, and I really like him because he's kind of tall and kind of a brute, tall and lean. We came up with the voice by basically marrying a version of Sly Stallone and Keanu Reeves. A little bit of both. So you got a little bit of Rocky and you got a little bit of I am an FBI agent. He's one of my faves. You know, as I read the script and I saw, especially when I saw the drawing, I was able to kind of create a personification. I saw that he was great big. I saw that he was a lizard. I saw from the lines that he was a bit of a bully. He was driven by all of his appetites. And so from that, I started to think about being quite big, and slimy and doing it. I'm getting it even more. Starting to make his mouth sound full, like it would always be. So I kind of created it from there, from doing all of those things and trying to physicalize the embodiment of what I saw in the drawing, which was excellent. It's extremely physical, and also I make sure that I exaggeratedly do so because I'm behind a mic and nobody's watching me. So it's kind of like acting through a mask, in my opinion. It's almost like if I were to subtly go, oh, like that it would come across as really flat. So I almost have to make it bigger because nobody can see me. I'm always jumping around and up on the balls of my feet and swinging my arms around. And usually I'm a little winded. I look like I burned a couple calories by the time voice session is over. Mostly because of the physicality of the entire thing, the team mostly had to keep getting me back to a couple of times in a session just out of exhaustion because he's so different than me and he's great big and he's deeper than I am normally, which I can do easily quiet, but he yells a lot, yells and screams and he throws things and he pounds tables. So I had to do him louder and bigger. And often Chris and Ned, and they were basically, once in a while, they'd have to get me back to my guy. They were like, that was really good. That was really big and powerful. Didn't quite sound like him. Let's get a little bit more of the heaviness of the guy back. It kind of felt like having 4 little league coaches at the same time while you're swinging. They're like, shoulders down. No, swing harder. Up. No, you need to. Gnorm is greedy military leader occupying your territory. So he's the guy who you probably are going to have to kiss the ring a little bit in order to allow yourself to function in your life. So he's one of those guys, if you appeal to his vanity, he'll let you pass for now. you don't actually ingratiate yourself to him. You just kind of keep yourself out of harm's way, like keep your head down. Vop, I would just stay out of sight with Vop because Vop is like a grunt soldier. He does what he's told, and any opportunity to use violence, he's down for. So the best thing to do is not make yourself a target by being in his line of vision. I do remember at one point kind of arguing a point of story as an actor where I wanted to play him a certain way. And one of the team was like, well, I don't know. I don't think that that's necessarily. And I wanted to say, well, you know, this is my part right now and I want to do it this way. But in the end, I realized I was talking to the author of the books. So I don't think I was going to win that argument. And he was super gracious. He was like, yeah, let's do it your way. Okay, that was great. Now let's do... The first maggot loaf scene was actually my favorite because it wasn't just dialogue. It was all about... So it was like the grossest ASMR session you'd ever come across on TikTok. Like, ew, swipe. There have been a few online because most of the time when I walk down the street, nobody goes, hey, there's Christopher Robin Miller. Online, when people realize that I'm a voice in that, I get a lot of feedback. But in the street, usually it's like, sir, I'm trying to get to the mint tea. Could you please move? That's usually the encounters I get in the real world. It's entirely possible, and I think we should start a grassroots movement to make sure. I think you should write Christopher Miller must be in season 2 and write that to, wingfeather.edu? I don't know what the... Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah, I would hope that it would be the same as the Archie Bunker spinoff from All in the Family, where he owns a bar and his regulars come in and they learn a lesson by the end of the episode. Oh my gosh, that was so exciting. I was in Nashville when we showed the premiere, watching him, and not only was he such a mean and awful character, but I could hear a little bit of the children and the adults in the audience kind of laughing at him and how awful he was. And that really made me happy. It was so fun to watch him come onto the screen and everyone, you almost expected a boo. You know, it was almost like a melodrama. If there was a mustache to twist, I would have done it. Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you, the animation overall is so beautiful where it kind of has that watercolor aspect to it, where it just has this deep softness and beauty and kind of looks like light shining through color. And it's obviously 2D. They're not trying to be all 3D animation. The voice of the guy who did the original Garfield, he was the voice of Ralph the all-purpose animal. It was one of the most magical cartoons I had ever seen. This reminded me in a lot of ways of that. This is a full-on animated piece, and every frame of it is something that you could frame and put in your house. It's just beautiful to look at. And that's one of my favorite things about it is the marriage of art and storytelling. And so my love of art runs deep and goes back further than my performing. And so to see something so beautiful and be allowed to lend my voice to the art is a real privilege. Sebastian Paul Winchell. I forget all the names now because I'm full of caffeine and I'm old. Mel Blanc and June Foray, up to and including in the 1960s, a lot of cartoons from then. The Hanna-Barbera stuff. And I've gotten to work with some people who I truly admire. I've gotten to workshop with Tress MacNeille from The Simpsons. One of my heroes, Ken Sansom, who was the voice of Rabbit for many years for Winnie the Pooh. And I even got to direct him. And it was like having a third grandpa. Anybody who ever met Ken Sansom want to say to him, will you be my grandpa? You know, because he was just the nicest man in the world. And I miss him. He passed a few years ago. Wonderful man, wonderful actor, great funny performer. Another one of my heroes is Dick Orkin, and anybody that worked with Dick Orkin and the Radio Ranch. Their performances in commercial work would rival anything that ever happened in any kind of animated film out there. They knew how to tell a story and be funny and touch your heart. Thanks for joining me, guys. You can download the Angel app and watch all the episodes of Wingfeather Saga Season 1 for free.
Fast to sleep, dark lord.